I guess a good way to kind of start the Bryce Papenbrook band is to tell you guys how I got here. And then, we'll just kind of hang out, talk about what you guys want to talk about. So I was born into a family of voice actors. Kind of grew up around the industry. And when I was 8 years old, my dad was working on Power Rangers. You guys seen that show? He used to play like all the monsters and the bad guys. He had like the exact opposite voice that I have. Like his was deep and booming, and mine hasn't changed since middle school, which works really nicely. So I used to love to go to work with him and just watch him do his thing. And at the end of one of his sessions, they needed a kid's voice, and he was like, "He's a kid, throw him in the booth!" And that's how I started. So just got thrown in there really young, and found my way into a bunch of different shows kind of growing up. Has anyone seen Cowboy Bebop? Right? A classic. I'm actually in that show. It's kind of hard to find me, but I'm there. They go to Mars, and there's all these orphans. And there's one that has a little toy, and he's like, look at this, look at this. So that's me. The character has a pot on his head, and in the script it said, pothead. So pothead from Cowboy Bebop. It's very high on the resume. Another one you might have seen from way back in the day is a show called Trigun. And I know it got a reboot recently. I love that because Johnny plays Vash the Stampede, and I play Vash as a little kid. Only to grow up and in Blue Exorcist play the older brother. So haha, Johnny! So yeah, really lucky to be around that group of actors and in those really awesome classic shows. But my very first lead in an anime was in a show called Dot Hack Sign Legend of the Twilight Bracelet. I played a character called Shugo. That was me as a kid going into a video game just to grow up and play Kirito as an adult playing a kid going into a video game. So I've come so far. So things recently that you guys might know me for, obviously Kirito from Sword Art Online, Eren Yeager in Attack on Titan. Some Titan fans, awesome. Who's read the manga? Tell me nothing. I still don't know the ending. Seriously, don't spoil me. I've avoided it for the last 10 years. So no idea what's coming. I'm excited for whenever it does. They don't tell us that either. Just to field the questions like, when is this coming? When is this coming? The answer is, I don't know. The internet usually tells me those things. And I avoid the internet, so I just don't know anything. So you might also know me as Inosuke Hashibira! Demon Slayer, yeah! He's on his own adventure this season. I have no idea what he's doing. And I have not read the manga either for that show. But I hear that I will be back to Scream another day. Hopefully sometime soon. I'm excited about that. You might also know me as Meliodas from Seven Deadly Sins. And a whole bunch more. Wikipedia knows better than I do. Something that's coming very, very soon, actually, towards the end of this month. You might also know me as Cat Noir in Miraculous Ladybug. And we are getting a movie that hits at the end of the month. We've been working on it for the last 3 years, and it is absolutely beautiful. The animation is incredible. If you guys haven't seen the trailers, a new one just dropped yesterday, so they give you a little bit more of a taste of what you'll see in the film, and I can't wait for everyone to see it. It's going to be really, really awesome. Well, let's open up some questions. What do you guys want to talk about? Yeah. I used to play Smash Brothers back in the day. I'll kind of age myself a little bit. When it was for N64. Yeah, I would cheese people with Pikachu. Yes, and be very annoying when I did it. I I was at a convention and they had a game room, and it's super dark in there. And every time that there's one at an event, I'll kind of peek in and see if they have N64 and Smash Brothers, so I can go in and just dominate some people. And just laugh. Yeah. So I was in this game room playing, and it's super dark. And this Bond cosplayer, Bond from Seven Deadly Sins, walks in. So I go, Bond! And he's just like so confused, like what is going on? And then someone told him like, no, that's Meliodas, and we high fived. It was great. You're like on a team for Smash Brothers? That's awesome. That's awesome. What's your main? Nice. Nice. Well, if you find an N64 and there's a Smash Brothers lying around, I'll play it. Yeah. Oh, it'll be a Pokemon battle then. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Speaking of Pokemon, you might also have heard me as Red in Pokemon Origins, the OG Pokemon Master. It's kind of a little known one, actually. My one complaint about Red is he's too good of a trainer, and he caught all the Pokemon in 4 episodes. I wanted like 25 years, like Ash got. Alright, yeah, over here. Hey! Confessionals, yes! Who's seen Confessionals? Only a few people. Okay, it's really, really awesome. I think you can still find it on YouTube. And this was the creation of Shermy Lee and her husband John. And I think it all kind of started from a convention. So the show is about actors that go to conventions, confessionals, and the craziness that happens around that. It was one of the rare chances I had to be in front of a camera versus a microphone. And I'll tell you this, like, it's a totally different skill. I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, I feel totally comfortable in front of a mic, but like a camera, it's like, it's this different thing. So, but it was really fun to shoot that. So we were at a convention, Jeremy and I, and I always have lovely experiences at events. Like with all the other like little details that go into it, like you don't see our kind of side of these things. But there's a lot of travel that goes into it. I'm based in Los Angeles, so you're constantly dealing with airplanes and delays and flights. I don't know how it's happened, knock on wood, but I've had lovely experiences going through the airport. People have been great. I get to the event and love meeting people and hanging out, having good times. Jeremy, on the other hand, always has the opposite experience when I seem to have a lovely one. Like, my seat is upgraded, her flight's delayed for a day. We were at an event, and we were having I think it was an SAO panel. And now, this is a few years ago. And this story, I just have to caveat. It's always better when you hear it from Sharon. So, secondhand. I'll give you my perspective. I'm sitting on the panel, and it was like this. Jeremy's supposed to be there next to me, and like 5 minutes go by, 10 minutes go by. I'm like, she's a little late. And then she kind of like rushes in. I'm like, hey, is everything okay? And she's like, okay, you're my brother. I'm like, what? She's like, you're my brother now. I'm like, okay. So as she was walking, she was stopped, and this girl who was, very interesting, was like, hey, where's your brother? And Jeremy has a brother, and she's like, he's at home. And the girl was like, no, Bryce, your brother. And Jeremy's like, oh, that's so funny. I know we play like siblings in Danganronpa, we play off each other a lot, but he's not my brother. And she's like, no, he's your brother. And she's like, oh, you're right. Okay, bye. And then came to the panel and was like, you're my brother now. So that was the start. Like, we were cracking up about that. And she's like, what if we were siblings? So we play siblings in confessionals, and she's very mean to me, which is amazing because she's the nicest person ever. Um, so yeah, it was just a crazy show, really, really fun to shoot, and we shot it at a convention. So all of those scenes where there's like a panel when there's like craziness happening, we were actually at SAC Anime in Sacramento with people that were at the convention, and it was so much fun. It's up to Jeremy and John if they want to do more. I would love to do more. We'll have to wait and see. So if you haven't seen Confessionals, go check it out. It's really, really funny. We'll go back there and then up here. So yes?
Do you plan on voicing anyone in Genshin Impact?
Do I plan on it? You act like I could just choose my roles. So as a voice actor, like, the real job is trying to get you to work. The audition process is really, really challenging. And I tell people that want to get into the industry, if you book 1 out of 100 auditions, you're doing extremely well. And it's no different for me. My job is constantly auditioning for different things. And I've definitely auditioned for Genshin. I just haven't been cast. So I get tagged online, especially when they're about to announce a new character. They're like, and here comes Bryce. I'm like, what are they gonna tell me? So I see those, and you know, I'll keep trying. I think of it, those auditions, as like buying lotto tickets. So I'll just keep buying lotto tickets. Maybe my Genshin ticket will show up one day. But you never know. Never know. Yeah.
What was your first reaction when you played Red Openworld and Blue Exorcist?
Oh. So, I don't know if you heard the good news about Blue Exorcist. There's more coming. No, I don't know what it is. I just know they announced, we're working on something, and they showed Yu-Gi-Oh! And Rin. So I'm like, yes! I've been asking for this for so long. I think I annoyed the people at Aniplex enough that they're like, just make it so Bryce stops talking to us. Just like, so? Blue Exorcist? They're like, no! But now, yes! It's coming. You know, Rin is such a fun character. Like, I feel like every time you step into the booth, you kind of leave with something from each character. So like, with Aaron, I would leave the booth and still be angry and just yell at people in traffic. With Rin, I couldn't stop smiling for like weeks. He just made me really happy. I also get this question a lot. Which character do you feel is most like you? And I think Rin has the most of my own personality kind of put into the character. I also feel like I do the least with my voice. Like I kind of have different tricks to set me into the characters, but Rin is just kind of me. So I just jump in the booth and I'm Rin. Now, that's challenging when I'm playing other characters. Like when I'm recording Sword Art, the director for SAO is the same director for Blue Exorcist, Alex Von David. And he really knows what Rin sounds like and those cadences and those sounds. So sometimes Rin will sneak into the booth when I'm supposed to be Kitty Tail. And he's like, Rin, get out of the booth. He's very quick to remind me. But yeah, just excited and happy at the potential opportunity to come back and play him again. It really needs more. Again, I haven't read the manga, but the mangaka really takes her time. So it's taken a long time for there to be enough content to make the show go on, but the Kyoto Saga backtracked and now follows the path of the manga, which is a really good sign. So hopefully they're planning to do a season 3 and then continue to animate all the way through. That's what I really want. Fingers crossed. Yeah?
What's your process after doing, stage voice? Like, is there like a hair process you have to do after training someone?
No. Because I have a trick to play Inosuke. It's actually 2 different tricks, and I'll teach you guys so you can try this at home. So the first one, and I don't normally do this with other characters, but it's a vocal warm-up. You know, a great thing to do, a lot of other actors do it. I actually needed one with Inosuke. So my vocal warm-up for him is, you get in the car, okay? I live in LA, so you get in traffic, right? Sitting in traffic. You try to make eye contact with the driver next to you, and then you just laugh like this. watch them just squirm and try to get away from you. Okay, so that's step one. So once you've terrified other drivers, you're moving the right direction. Then you get to the studio and you make yourself a really dark, disgusting cup of coffee. Like black tar in a cup, right? Like if it's supposed to be like a 6-ounce pour, you make it a 2-ounce pour. So it's just black sludge. Okay, so you have this cup of sludge. It's so bitter it makes you angry. And then between each take, you take a sip and you're just like, and that's enough. And I can yell like him all day. So all I have to do is think about that cup of coffee and I can scream like Inosuke forever. I don't know why, but it's like this pocket in my voice where I can maintain it. So usually at events, people come up and ask me to say lines. I'm always happy to scream at people as Inosuke, because I can do it forever. People like Aaron, Kirito, they hurt. They ruin me. So I don't do as many screams like those guys, but Inosuke all day long. And I drive Zach insane. And it's my favorite thing ever. I hope he hears my screams and laughs in his nightmares. We'll go 1 and then 2. We'll go back here first and then we'll move up to the front. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go 1 and then 2 and then we'll move to the front. Yes. I know it's always hard. I'm like, you right there. You ask your question. So, I think it's been announced that in the movie, I'm not singing as Cat Noir. It's not me. Which is interesting, you know. I sang as Cat Noir and Argos, Adrian and Argos in this last season. Really enjoyed doing it. Unlike a lot of my counterparts in the cast, I'm not a professional singer. A lot of voice actors bring different skills into the booth. So singing kind of fits hand in hand with a lot of what voice actors bring. Not me. I have fun doing it, but it's definitely not something I've dug really deep into or practiced a lot. So totally cool. Still me though as Cat Noir playing all of the other things, but somebody else singing. I actually haven't seen the movie altogether, so I have no idea how it's gonna look or feel like that. But I cannot wait for my kids to see it, because I'm just gonna be like, doesn't Daddy sound good singing? And just trick them. Just be like, that's my voice right there. Just trick them. Yeah, you know, it's interesting. Sometimes, actually all of the time, it's out of the actor's control. If they wanted me to sing the songs for the movie, I would have loved to have done that, gone through that process. I would have practiced and hired a coach and really tried to make them something special. But they went another direction, and that's totally cool, out of my hands. So I just got to do what I love doing, and that's sneaking cat ones in the show. And I think there's some in there. So we'll go 1 forward, and then we'll move towards the front. Yes, you have your blue Exorcist manga. Oh, it's hard to pick one. It really is. I'm scanning the room for young children, because Rin has a mouth on him. Sorry, I'm gonna cuss. I'm apologizing in advance for Rin, who lives in my head. So the first one isn't him cussing. There's just this moment where he like pops up out of his truck and he just goes, "What up?" I don't know why. It just makes me happy every time. So that one, but I also love, "I'm gonna beat the shit out of Satan." Has anyone not seen Blue Exorcist? Now is a good time to check it out. It's so good. So we recorded, I mean, it's got to have been 12 years ago that we first recorded that show. And it was my role as Rin that got me invited as a guest to my first convention. So really my path being here, it kind of started back with Blue Exorcist. And I think it still holds up. It's such a good show. Story is incredible. The characters are really easy to love. And I'm really proud of what we did in the entire show with the movie, and just excited for more. So yeah, we'll come up here. Oh, okay, yeah.
How do you feel about the
Ooh, well, I don't know how things are going to turn out, because I haven't read the manga and I haven't been spoiled. Who's seen all the way to where the anime is right now? For Attack on Titan. Well, just everything that's been released in the anime. That's where I'm at. Who's never seen Attack on Titan? Oh, sweet, awesome. For you guys, it's like a lighthearted comedy. Anytime you need like a little pick-me-up, just start Attack on Titan. I really want someone to do that and just be like, it's been a tough day. I said to start Attack on Titan. No! So, the rumbling. I don't know how I feel. I'm very conflicted because I've been kind of a Jaegerist since the beginning. Really love the character. And I'm not sure how to feel about his decisions. He's not the best decision maker. He's made some very poor ones in the past. To the point where, like, in season 1, we had this running joke where I would say something as Aaron and then do my Armin impression and go, Aaron, no! Just constantly. There's so many of those floating out there. But yeah, I just don't know yet. And I think that's what makes Attack on Titan so special. Like, it creates this gray area where you don't know who's right and who's wrong. It's looking kind of bad for Eren, but I'm not sure yet. Things have a way of kind of twisting and turning in Attack on Titan. So we'll just have to see what happens coming up. Yes? I'm already not a good singer. And Inosuke, I don't know how his singing voice would be. Do you have a request? I didn't know this was an Inosuke karaoke band. One thing I did sing, and I usually say this just for once a year on Inosuke's birthday, I always envision him singing happy birthday to himself, which I've done. It's out there on the internet. You can find it out there. I really need lyrics. I need lyrics. I need, like, if it was going to be more than just like, toxic! Oh, did you say All-Star? Smash Mouth? See, even if he had lyrics, though, he wouldn't get them right. He'd be like, hey now, I'm an all-star, that's right, I'm the best. Hey now, look at me, the all-star. There we go, Inosuke singing out of tune. Smash Mouth, yeah, gonna smash some people's mouths. You would like that name. Okay, let's go over here, hi. So it was very much a collaboration between me and Mike McFarland. And I mentioned at the beginning of my panel, my voice hasn't changed since middle school. So I've done a lot of kind of exploring into the higher range of my voice. But it wasn't until really Inosuke that I had to kind of learn how to go into that deeper range and kind of dig deeper. And because of all that work, I found Eren's voice, or I was able to find Eren's voice. We wanted to make it definitely like he's been through some things. You need to know it's still kind of Eren, but not, right? Like, at the beginning, he's a little different looking. And when I saw that character, I had no idea that was gonna be me. And when I first did the voice, it was actually deeper than what we ended up going with. Um, but I love where we placed it. I think like the motivation for Aaron's voice, season 1 through 3, is anger. Like there's this anger coming through in every line. In season 4, it's coldness. Like that anger is still there, but it's kind of buried under this iciness. And that makes him terrifying. So that was kind of the starting place. And then we just went for it. And that came out, and I love it. We'll go over here and then we'll work our way back this way. Yes?
Some people might not have noticed, but I caught twice that cyberpunk.
Ha ha! You got me!
What was that like on Edge?
Very, very fun working on Edge Runners. I got a message from the director, and she's like, hey, I got a part for you in Cyberpunk. I'm like, oh, sweet! And then I got booked, and it was for 2 hours, and I was like, I'm gonna die. So I play my main character, his name is Julio. You see him in the beginning part of one episode, just kind of fanboying. And it was just fun. I got to play him so goofy, doing all the like gun sounds, just like the yeah, it was just a good time. And I'm glad you caught my second character. I didn't really even put that out there or announce that I was that character. I like to do that sometimes. In fact, there's still a number of characters that are in shows that were released a long time ago that I haven't like announced or connected to me. And I started like a treasure hunt a very long time ago, and people still haven't found the character. I love it. I love it. I have like this unique texture to my voice, and that kind of shines through in a lot of my characters. So even if I'm starting in a different place, like sometimes I'll like cross where another character might be, but that all comes with like who I'm playing versus like trying to do a voice. It's like I set the character I find where they start, and then I just play the character as the show is going and try to feel what that character is feeling. So a lot of times, like, especially as I'm screaming, you might hear a scream and be like, oh, that sounds like this scream, because it's really hard to disguise your voice if you're really screaming. But every once in a while, I trick people, and there's still some gems out there that people haven't discovered, and I'm just never going to announce them until someone's like, hey, is this you? But the other character you're thinking about, probably in a limousine, that's me. Yeah, I definitely try to play him lower, a little more like professional and a bit kind of angry. Yeah, well, I'm glad you found me. Yeah, we'll go right here and then right there. 1, 2. That I wear something? Ooh. Trying to think if I use like, I haven't used like clothing. I have used things that I bring, like I always carry my backpack with me. And who's seen SAO Alicization? Awesome, okay. It's really, really cool. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. There's a scene where Kirito and Alice are climbing this giant tower. And he's kind of like on the outside of the tower, holding on to something, and holding Alice in his other hand, and then yelling at her. Well, that scene took us forever to record. And I really wanted it to sound like Kirito was holding somebody, so I held my backpack the entire scene. And was like dripping sweat from working out, you know, holding this thing, yelling, and going back and forth, trying to get it to land just perfectly. And that show was on Toonami, happened to be at an event with my family, and it came on, and I was like, my wife's name is Samantha, I'm like, stop everything, you have to watch this moment. This was like a full day of recording, and the scene played, and she's like, yeah, it was great. It's like, that was like 5 hours of my life holding a backpack, sweating. She's like, yeah, it was good. Great. Wow. I've met Kaji-san a few times. So next time I see him, I'll remember to ask him about his underwear. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. I have friends in the game. I mean, look, it's so difficult to book work, especially great parts that challenge you as an actor or have something really interesting or put things out there that a lot of people will see or play. So for sure, I'd be interested in working for that company and on those titles. It's not my choice though. It's a matter of auditioning and putting those things out there and being the right fit for the right character. And I just don't know if it'll ever happen. That's why, like, when actors do call their shots, or when they say, like, oh, I really want to be a part of this series, and it actually happens, it's the coolest thing ever. Like, everyone in the VO community you'll see are, like, celebrating each other, because we know how hard it is to actually get the work. Even if you've been in the industry for a very long time, you're constantly competing against people that have been in the industry longer than you. I can't tell you how many times I've read for a role and been like, I know Tom Kenny is reading for this too, and he's gonna get it. It's just tough. So sure, I mean, it's another thing that's kind of exciting about being a voice actor. Like, one day you don't have a role, you read for it, and the next day you're in this thing and going on this journey with that character. So it can happen at any time, and with those games, they constantly roll out new characters, they're constantly expanding them, so fingers crossed. You never know, never know. Don't spoil things. No one heard anything. No, you're okay. I think season 5 is still releasing. No, you're fine. It's Miraculous Ladybug. Everything is cured in 2 seconds. And then we all forget. Oh, you're all good. No, it happens all the time. The cool thing about Miraculous is, like, the stakes look extremely high so much, and then things change right away. And we have no idea what's gonna happen. Also, when we're recording, we record out of order. So, like, we'll record, like, episode 3 and episode 20 on the same day. And when we're in episode 20, we're like, who's this person? And actually, one of my favorite moments happened like that. There's this one episode where there's a party at Adrian's house, and he invites, like, all the guys from the city over to his house, and they're having this party, and Marinette's trying to, like, sneak into the party. So we're recording, and a banana swings through the party. And I was like, what was that? And Ezra and the engineer back it up, and KBT swings through the party. I'm like, who's that? And Ezra's like, I don't know. And I was like, that's now my favorite character in the show. And he is. And I love that that Adrian gets to put the banana suit on as Banana Noir for a little bit too. Good times, good times. I was really hoping for that. But back to your original question that no one heard. I don't know how I feel as an actor, and I don't know how Adrian feels, because I don't think anything exists after season 5 yet. But they have a funny way of, like, just going, and we're doing this! So it looks, I saw, like, a poster, and it had, like, Ladybug's charm with, like, a little 6 around it. So I think that's confirmation of a 6th season. Fingers crossed. They haven't told me yet, but like I said, I find out from the internet. Yeah, back there.
So, when you're in the booth for whatever project you're in, you're like, in those days, you're Slayer,
Sometimes on the same day, but yes.
do you ever just voluntarily just input the wrong person into whatever project you're in? And a little bit of that?
So like on accident or on purpose?
I mean, if it's on by accident, then it's funny, but I'm just more like, are you voluntarily doing it yourself?
Like, do those characters somehow find their way through and be like, I want to be in this show?
Like the whole romance thing with like Adrian.
It happens more when
Okay, just roll up in there randomly.
so like Inosuke and Adrian are very different places for me mentally and physically. So like it's less likely that Inosuke is going to show up unless I want him to, which I mess around a lot in the booth. So there's a lot of bloopers out there in the world, and I'm very proud of them. Thanks. SAO bloopers. They are the dirtiest ones ever. Don't Google what I say. Don't do it. That was called the Urban Dictionary Special in those bloopers. It happens sometimes where some characters will sneak through, but when we're recording, it's not like we're in a void. You know, there's a team with us, and like for Miraculous Ladybug, Ezra Weiss, the director, would be like, "Ooh, that doesn't sound like Adrian. Let's try that again." Or you sound a little off there. Like, let's pick that up here just on this moment. So if it does happen, they'll kind of catch it and fix things. But there are times where, like, I guess you would say for Miraculous, I'm kind of throttling how intense things are. Because I know, like, the show was originally for Nickelodeon, a lot of youngsters will watch it, so, like, the intensity is lower than a lot of the characters in, say, Attack on Titan. You know, just a little bit different. But once in a while, I'm able to kind of let that go. And one of my favorite episodes, Cat Blanc, I really got to let that out a bit more. And people have compared, like, that performance, that moment, to some of my other characters. So it happens where, like, there's this crossover where, like, it would make sense to add a little flair of Aaron or a little flair of some of these other characters into a different one.
So you're saying like the various voices give you kind of inspire certain moments or segments, whatever project.
It could. I mean, they're all me. Like, they live in me somewhere. And what I try to do is connect how the characters are feeling to something that I felt, to try to make it real. Because if I'm just putting on a voice, doing a character, like, it might sound just put on. But if I'm feeling what my characters are feeling, like with Aaron in season 1, he bites his hand, I bit my hand so hard I left bruises. Because hopefully, it sounds like it's hurting, because it is. So, like, I have to find things in my life to, like, connect back to my characters and feel those things. So, like, back to Aaron again, like, I had this Maltese poodle. She was an awesome dog. Her name was Minnie. And Minnie loved to eat. And I had this bag of chips that I was really looking forward to eating. And that dog, she ate my chips! So I used that to find the anger for Aaron. Poodles. So you find it in different ways. Yeah, poodles. Let's go with Gunpachiro Kamaboko! Sure. Awesome. Amazing. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, he'll do that. So the question was, they kind of see Inosuke as like a youngster or a child, like kind of following the other two and doing that. I'm actually not sure. We haven't seen the background. Like we need an episode showing us where Inosuke came from, why he's like that. You probably know. Don't tell me. I don't know. And there's a reason why. I actually avoid reading the manga because I want to have that real, genuine reaction in the moment. You might not know this also. We don't get scripts ahead of time. We don't table read, meaning like we don't meet up with the other actors and practice. You go into the booth, and the first time you see the words is the first time you say them. So you just have to be in the moment, and that's kind of my method, is to feel what Inosuke is feeling in those moments. And I would say his feelings are very intense. Like, if he's angry, he's very angry. If he's sad, he's very sad, and has the ugliest cry of anyone else. So that's kind of where I am with Inosuke, but I'm not sure, how he is. I think to himself, he's the leader. He's showing everyone else what to do. And when he sees someone that has a trait that is interesting to him, he'll either train hard to get better than that person, or he'll kind of be like interested. Why is this person able to do this? And I think at this point in the story, he's seeing the others kind of do things that are interesting. Like with Zenitsu, he should stay asleep the whole time. Smart. Why doesn't he? So yeah, it's gonna be cool to see where the story goes. Are you saying the moment where he's on the ceiling? Oh yeah, I love that scene. So there's a part in that where he's leaning, imagine this is Manjaro. He's here, and Inosuke's like this. So as we were recording, I did this. And they're like, that was hilarious. Can we get something a little shorter? I'm like, sure. And I would not give them anything shorter. So I had to use that because it just made me laugh. They let me kind of have fun in there. And because I'm not hitting sync with Inosuke, I'm just hitting piggy snout movement, I have a lot more freedom with what I can do with the performance. And they let me have it. They let me just go for it and just let that out. So if you compare Matsuoka-san's performance to my performance, it might be pretty different. Ideally, we reach the same spot. You guys feel how you should in watching the show in both languages if we're kind of doing it right. Even if we do it in a different way, we still get to the same ending. But yeah, I have a lot of fun with it. Okay, let's try to catch people. Still a little more time, right? Plenty of time. Let's go right here first. Sure. Yeah. Usually no. Usually actors, voice actors have very little influence on the casting process. Once in a while, you'll be in a session and a director will be like, oh yeah, we're casting for this thing. And you can just go this person would be awesome, do you know them? And I've done that. I've done that for people that are my friends that I think would be perfect. I've brought their names up and then it's kind of out there. I've made intros to other people who I think would be right, but I have no true influence on cast this person for this job. That's just not my job. There's a lot of different casting directors at the different companies, and that's literally what they do. So yeah, no true pull. It's just not something I've done. There are actors that are casting directors also that do literally handpick and cast for these things. And sometimes they have the final say. Sometimes they're working in line with the producer and they're like, hey, here's my top 3, and let the producer pick. It's kind of different every time. And I don't know how to book a job. I still don't. It's like shooting darts at a dartboard blindfolded. So for me, personally, I just put things out that I am happy with, that I either think are right for the character, or that just make me laugh. Sometimes I'm like, I am not right for this part. I'm doing something they did not ask for. And we'll see what happens with that. And it's worked out for me once in a while. Like, sometimes you just take things a little more extreme. So, you might not know, I play Caesar in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Caesar is my Family Guy-inspired Italian accent. I mentioned, like, a lot of different actors have different skills. There's some people who can do accents just so well. Like, they can literally pinpoint a city or a section of a city and be like, this is what this accent sounds like from there. Not me. Just not something I've dug into. But I do watch Family Guy, and Peter does this really bad Italian accent where he goes, "Boop-ba-da-ba-ba-da-bee-ba." And I did that in the audition for Caesar, and they're like, this guy! So sometimes it works out well. Yeah, we'll go over here. No spoiler. Okay, good.
So, go back about 10 years to season 1.
Yep.
And your earlier recording session aired. Was there ever a moment where you were like, man, this show's going to be special? Was it really huge?
Well, before I was cast, I thought the show was special. It was something I really wanted to be part of. I was a fan of the show. I was working on a video game, and the producer of the game was watching Attack on Titan. It was just coming out in Japan, and she was like, you know, you'd play a great Eren. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. Like, what is this Attack on Titan show? Let me go check it out. She's hyping it up. Let's see if it's cool. And I watched episode 1, and I was like, what? And there were 6 episodes out when I started watching. Episode 5 is when I was hooked. Absolutely hooked. Could not stop watching. Like, counting down the seconds until the episode would come out every week. Like, just so excited to see what would happen. And I would have been happy playing guy who gets stepped on by Titan. I just wanted to be a part of the show. So it was a dream come true to play. And we knew it was a great show. We knew it was something really, really cool. We had no idea what it would become, and that literally people all around the world would watch it, and celebrate it, and love it, and it would be like the path of anime as a genre to be mainstream. Like, I feel like it was a stepping stone in kind of the path of anime getting in front of more and more people. I don't think it was like the moment Titan hit or the moment things were coming, like that wasn't it. I really identify Mugen Train, like the release of that movie in the box office. That's when I feel anime was truly mainstream. When I saw that Mugen Train beat Mortal Kombat in the box office with half the amount of theaters, I was like, okay, this is really, really cool. But yeah, 10 years ago, we knew we were everyone kind of knew that there was something about that show. Something really, really cool. And it's honestly changed my life. Like, it's been incredible to be part of it. Yeah, thank you. Let's go right here. Do you have 2 swords I could borrow? Who's watched all of Sword Art? Who's all caught up? It's so good. Do you guys know we're working on the audiobooks? Huh? Yes, actually. So this was an experiment. And I think I was the first one to do this. They had me do all of the first light novel by myself. So I'm the narrator, I'm Kirito, I'm Asuna, I'm Klein, I'm Aegyo, I'm everybody. And it was really cool because it was like reliving those moments from a decade ago. And I'm so connected with that story that I knew a lot of little nuances as I was reading back the light novel. Like, I just thought in my head, oh yeah, Alex, the director, he'd want me to do it this way. Or, oh, Kirk, who plays Klein, he kind of does this when he says this line. So I'm going to do it that way too. So I was able to kind of bring like something unique to it. And the company told me, if people like this and they listen, we'll keep making it. And we've been recording. So I think 9 of them have been released. In the second one, Jeremy does all the female perspective and I do all the male perspective. And they're really, really cool. I'm super proud of them. And I definitely do a nice big Starburst stream in the audio. But here we go. You ready? He kind of like powers it up. It's not as big as some of his other moments, but Starburst stream! There you go. Sword's so good. Aaron in the back. Hey, love the cosplay.
Thank you. Actually, I have a question about Aaron. Because how was it doing Aaron's voice as a feature on a song with Lowry? How was working on
Sorry, say that again?
How was it being featured on a song with Lowry as Aaron's voice?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's so. There's a music artist named Whit Lowry. He's really awesome. He actually invited me to one of his concerts when he was playing in LA. And I got to go watch him live. He is so good. He reached out to me maybe about 2 years ago and said, hey, fan of your work, so inspiring. I've taken some inspiration from some of your work and I'm working on an album and I'm curious if you want to collaborate. I'm like, maybe, let's see what you're up to. Let me know when the time comes. So a year goes by. He's like, hey man, I know it's been a second. I've been working this whole time and I think it's time to finally talk. And we connected and we started talking about that track, which is called Off the Strength. So cool. And he wanted me to come in the drop. So the song's going and then it kind of goes silent for a second and then you hear me and then it goes right back into the song. So it's actually not Aaron. It's not me doing an impression of Aaron. It's not Aaron's voice. It is a character that we created for Off the Strength. And we were talking about it and like came up with that line together in the moment. Like just discussed the song, came up with that line, and I just did it right with him. He's like, dude, that's it. Like that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, it's yours. Sent it to him and right in the track. And it's really, really cool. So to me, it's not Aaron. It's like, it's the voice in my head, the inner voice that's pushing me to drive forward and challenge myself as an actor. It's that voice that's in Whit's head that's pushing him forward as a music artist. Like it's that we captured. And yes, inspired by feelings that Aaron might feel also, but not Aaron. So yeah, it's on YouTube, on Spotify. Check it out. It's really, really cool. Thank you for listening. Okay, we got time for a few more. I'm gonna kind of go here and then work back. Let's go all the way over there. Yeah. I mean, do you have a favorite line as Meliodas, or you just anything? Anything is Meliodas. Well, some of my favorite moments are pervy moments. So how about this one? Just checking for a heartbeat. My trick for Meliodas is I raise my eyebrows so high it stretches out my vocal cords. And I play Zeldris also, and I lower my eyebrows. It's all in the eyebrows for Seven Deadly Sins. I also play Love Helm. I don't know if you caught that. So in season 1, there's this tournament for Deanne's hammer, and there's a referee. It looks like a tiny character that took a red sheet and threw it over his head and cut like eye holes and a mouth hole in it. You just see his teeth. That's me, the most annoying character in the show, and I'm very proud of that. I was actually watching the show as I was recording, and I came to that moment, and when I hear like interesting voices, I try to like copy them. And with Lovehelm, I was like, oh, I kind of sound like this guy. So I was working on the show, and the casting director and producer was walking through the studio. I'm like, hey, can I set you an audition for Seven Deadly Sins? And she's like, Meliodas, what are you talking about? I'm like, just trust me. And she's like, I guess. So I went home, practiced, sent her that. She just responded, I think we can make this work. So waited, finished all my recording as Meliodas, then got a message like, hey, can you come in for 7 Deadly Sins? I'm like, oh! And it was for Love Helm. And I thought, oh, I better practice a little bit more. And at the time, I didn't have like a full professional studio. I was kind of in a adapted closet. So if I'm really loud, like everyone in my house could hear me practicing, and like my neighbors could hear me practicing. And my wife at the time was very, very pregnant. And I was practicing, and she just bust into my office, and she's like, if you do that voice one more time, I'm having this baby now! So I stopped practicing. Well, here's what he sounds like, so you guys can enjoy this too. I don't need a mic for him. There's no volume control for Love Helm. And now, let the fight begin! Yeah. Not allowed to do that anymore. That's it? No more? Oh, I always do this. I always talk way too much. But, thank you guys so much. This was really, really fun, just hanging out and chatting. I'm gonna go from here back to my table. So I know there are a lot of people that still had questions. So feel free to come up, ask your questions. I'll hang out until they kick me out of the area. And then I have another panel tomorrow at 2. And it's a Demon Slayer panel, so if you want to see me yell at Zach for an hour, come hang out. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a great time at the con.